In this video, we will be demonstrating how to set up and prime the world's smallest heart-lung machine, the CARDIOHELP Portable ECMO by McKay. To initiate the setup, we have to have the following equipments. First is the trolley, which we'll use to transport the CARDIOHELP system. Secondly is the CARDIOHELP pump. Third is the HLS disposable. Fourth is the 3-way tap with extension. And lastly, 2 liters of styrofoam to prime the circuit.
Lift the safety bar upwards by pressing the 2 buttons. Attach the HLS module to the machine by rotating it counterclockwise and you will hear an audible click sound. Leave open the de-airing port, the one with the yellow cap. Now add the 3-way tap with extensions toward its corresponding ports. One in the pre-oxygenator port, another one on the post-oxygenator port, and make sure to tighten all the caps and connections. And lastly, on the venous line. This 3-way tap with extensions can be used in cases when a continuous renal replacement therapy is needed. Now, connect the integrated sensor cable to the HLS module by aligning the red dot on the sensor to the arrow-shaped groove found in the module. Now, connect the flow probe to the arterial outflow line. By observing the arrow-shaped marking, make sure that the probe or sensor is attached on the correct direction. Ensure that the venous probe is properly connected to the initializing station beneath the blue handle. After that, lower the CARDIOHELP arm by pressing the 1 button on the right side and securely place the sterile tray on the top of the module. Contents of the tray must remain sterile throughout the priming procedure. After installing the HLS module, probe, and sensors, the main console can now be switched on by pressing the universal power button. After that, check the battery status or the charging levels of the machine by pressing the battery symbol located on the lower right portion of the console. This is to ensure that adequate power is running throughout the procedure. After checking the battery status, activate the mode Global Override, as demonstrated on this video. Now, choose the appropriate therapy application, flashed as TH app on the menu. After choosing the appropriate therapy, individually calibrate the integrated pressure measurements: the arterial pressure, the venous pressure, and the internal pressure. Please take note that the system must remain unprimed while calibrating the integrated pressure sensors. Therefore, calibration must be done prior to priming. Checking the venous oxygen saturation or the SVO2 on the software wall confirms that the venous probe was initialized and is identified correctly. Once the console is initialized, the circuit can now be primed with fluid. First, hang the priming bag in the pole. After that, make sure that the venous or the outlet line is clamped. Now fill the bag with 1.5 liters of priming fluid by connecting the quick prime line to the priming solution. Make sure that the stopcock on the priming bag is open to vent excess air. Disconnect the distal end tubings on the sterile tray and the distal end tubings of the priming bag. Make sure that the blue line is clamped. Connect the distal ends of both tubings from the sterile tray and priming bag. Make sure that the blue and red line are connected to the same appropriate color. This is to avoid confusion between the arterial and venous line. Again, make sure that the blue line is clamped. During passive priming, see to it that the priming bag is adequately elevated. Unclamp the blue or venous line to initiate passive priming, thereby allowing the gravity to drain the fluid across the circuit. After passive priming, run the pump at 3000 RPM for at least 2 minutes. You can actually set the timer by pressing the clock symbol in the menu bar. After running the pump for 3000 RPM, allow the pump to rest for 5 seconds. Run the pump again for at least 4000 RPM for 1 minute. This is to ensure that all air is eliminated from the circuit. Please take note that no air should be visible and pump should be virtually silent. After active priming, you may now turn off the pump. After priming the entire circuit, please do not forget to purge all the three-way taps by slightly opening the respective cups. You may now close the de-airing port with a yellow cap. Clamp the upstream and downstream portion of the flow bubble sensor. Then reset the flow calibration setting by hitting the V symbol on the console. Press the chain symbol on the menu bar and reset the bubble alarm setting. Lastly, deactivate the global override. Transfer one of the two clamps from the arterial line to the venous side. Clamp the distal end tubings of the tray and the priming bag. Now carefully disconnect the primed circuit from the priming bag. And reconnect the tubings, thereby forming a complete loop from the sterile tray. Carefully open the sterile tray and hand the sterile tubings to the surgeon, ready for connection to the cannula.
That's all for this video. On behalf of the perfusionists of the Philippine Heart Center, I hope that you have gained the necessary competencies on how to set up and prime the CARDIOHELP ECMO machine as we respond to the health needs of our patients. Thank you for watching.